Hello everyone, welcome back to another video in the Android app from scratch series, where we are creating an Android app from scratch. This one is the VideoToGif application. If you remember in the last video we went over this settings activity and how to basically have settings for your app, pretty much, so that people can change certain characteristics of what you want your app to do. Today we're going to be looking into MediaMetaDataRetriever, which is something that requires API 10 plus, and it's basically hopefully a way that we can grab frames of a video that we load in. So if you remember from last time, we have this where we're able to get the path of the video, whether or not we recorded it or selected it. So before we kind of messed around with an external Java Media Framework library, and that didn't really work out very well. I was encountering a lot of errors with that, and I was getting frustrated. So we're going to try this time. Now, instead of using this read from file, where we read into like a byte array, where we actually can use these built-in Java Media Framework stuff, not Java Media Framework, MediaMetaDataRetriever. And this MediaMetaDataRetriever has a getFrameAtTime method, which is hopefully what we're going to want. So let's go ahead and start working on this. Now we're going to go ahead and create a new class. Let's just call it how about GIF? Yeah, I guess we can do that. Just GIF. So, in its constructor, we just give it a path, and now what we're going to want to do is, since in order to use this MediaMetaDataRetriever, we have to do setDataSource path, so that's what we're going to start out doing. Let's go ahead and let's make a media. Hopefully I spelled that right. Looks like I didn't, but a little bit of copy and pasting will do. Oops. And interesting. Looks like it isn't wanting to allow me to import it. Interesting. So maybe we have to import something else. I mean, it could be because of the SDK I'm targeting. That's probably it, since it does require SDK 10 plus, and I think I have 8. So let's change which one I'm targeting in this, so I only target 10 plus. If I can remember which one to do that. So let's change this to 2.3.3. Hit apply, hit OK. And looks like it's loading data now. And hopefully once it's finished there we go. We now have access to this MediaMetaDataRetriever. So I guess that's how I've never actually done that before. Changing it gives you that option. So let's just go ahead and set this new MediaMetaDataRetriever, and remember we have to do setDataSource, and we can just give it path. And now that we have this, we can do this getFrameAtTime. Now, if you remember in our settings, we had this frames per second. So in order to get that, we need to basically get the shared preferences, similar to what we've done here. And actually, when we do this select video or record video, what we're going to be doing, of course, is we're going to do GIF, and then we're going to pass it path. And then in here we can also set, let's do double. So shared preferences, I think it's get application preference manager. We might have to actually pass in the context to this. So let's just change that. I'm trying to make this as object-oriented as possible, which is why I'm doing all this extra stuff. And now in here, I can just pass it this. Let's go ahead and save that. And then in order to get that, we do FPS string. Let's just go ahead and copy this stuff. Pref, and now that we've created that, let's just go ahead and set that as FPS. So FPS equals double parse double FPS string, and then we want to return some sort of image here because the constructor is going to set it up, and then when we want to actually get, I'm not sure how we're going to store this. Maybe have an array of bitmaps or something. So we might actually have to, I'm going to go ahead and change this to GIF creator. And then have this and then this will return a new class that's GIF, which inside of it will have an array of bitmaps, I guess you could say. And this might not be the best way to store it, but for now, that's the only thing I can think of. So let's go ahead and return null. And this will return an instance of this class, which we're going to create. Because the reason I chose bitmaps is because this get frame at time actually returns a bitmap. And so let's go ahead and look at this method. Now, time US is time position where the frame is found. I'm going to go ahead and read this, all this documentation. I'll get back at you in a second. Hello, I am back. Sorry, I had to take care of some other stuff along with what I was doing. But anyway, I'm guessing that this is microseconds, which is like a million microseconds in a second. So what we're basically going to do is, first thing, I want to change this to an array list of bitmaps rather than an array, because we're going to need to be adding some. And bitmaps equals new array list bitmap. And then we want to add bitmaps. So now in our GIF creator, we can just create a new one. And then we can just add them as we get them. So now this mmr.get frame at time returns null if it can't actually get it. So I'm guessing that means that if we go past a certain time, like past the actual video time, then it'll just return null. But we also might want to do something like, I wonder if there's anything else it can get. You can get the total time of it, which would be useful. I think that might be extract metadata. Let's go ahead and check that out. Looks like we have to provide it one of the constants here. Now, duration, I'm guessing, is what we want. So let's go ahead and see. Now that, again, I'm not sure what unit of measurement that is in, or unit of time. So let's just go ahead and do double. Let's see, we want to extract metadata, and then we want to, sorry, I keep doing that. MediaMetaDataRetriever. Metadata duration. And this returns a string. So go ahead and do that. So now that we have this duration, I'm going to have to check to see what unit of measurement this is in. But we also need some sort of counter. Start that out at 0. So we can basically go, just to be safe, let's have this bitmap, and then we do while counter less than duration, and b does not equal null. And let's go ahead and grab the first one of this. So mmr.getFrameAtTime, then we pass it counter. Looks like it actually takes a long. So let's do that. And then we do gif.addBitmapB. And then we do a counter plus equals. Now, knowing that this is in microseconds, that's what I said, we have to, let's see, we have to take, I guess we have to long incrementer. And then we also have to set this based off the FPS. So incrementer equals 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 divided by FPS. Add a cast along. Because there's a million microseconds in a second, and we also have to divide that by the number of frames per second, just so we can get the number of frames. So now we can do plus equal incrementer. And then we can do b equals mmr.getFrameAtTime counter. Alright, and that should be everything. Now let's go ahead and put a giant try-catch around this. And return null if there's any problems. Source format, Control-Shift-F was what it was. Okay. And let's go ahead and test that and see if this works, because I think this is what we need using this MediaMetaDataRetriever. We can actually get some other interesting things. Hopefully this works on videos along with, looks like most of this stuff is actually music, but we shall see. So in our main activity, we have our select video. So we have our GIF creator goes into GIF creator, and then we should be able to call GIF creator dot get GIF, and then we should have a array list of bitmaps in here, which we can then combine together into a GIF. So let's put a breakpoint here, and let's debug this, and we want to use our media tester. So yet again, I'm going to pause this until this pops up. Be right back. Alright, and we are back with our VideoToGif thing. So let's do select video, since I don't actually have my phone hooked up. And we have this video. Okay. Now, okay. So let's go ahead and make sure this works. Looks like it somehow failed already. Oh boy. Alright, let's just try that again. I'm not actually sure what happened right there. So pretty sure I just stepped in there. But maybe not. We'll see. So select video. Grab our video. Probably just want to put a breakpoint here. Apparently, oh. There's where the exception was. But I skipped over it again, of course. And my logcat isn't working. But we'll try this one more time. Probably some stupid mistake I made, of course. And select video. Get our video from our gallery. F8. Okay. So MMR equals new. Setting the data port path is up to our wildlife.wnv. And looks like that's where the exception is. Let's take a little bit of break while I try and figure out what's going on here. Hello, I'm back, and I actually found the problem. The file that I was using was a .wmv file, which apparently is incompatible with this set data source. So I just grabbed a 3GP video file that I found on the internet, just a random one, and we are going to use that one, and it'll actually work this time. Also, I created a new AVD and set its target to 2.3.3, since that actually we needed to change that as well. So that could have stopped some other problems. But just to show you guys that it's actually working, I just kind of hard-coded this in, so even when we're going to select this WMV video, it's still going to work with this file here. So we can just do F6, F6, and it sets the data source. Now we get our FPS string, which is 10, of course, because we haven't actually set it yet, so it gets this default value. And then we turn that into a double, and then we have our incrementer, which should be 100,000, good. And then this is where we know that whether or not it had actually grabbed this video and it works. We can actually get the string duration, and it's 95600. Now I'm guessing, I haven't actually opened up this video, I don't really know how long it is, but I'm guessing that's in milliseconds, which means we're going to need to multiply that by 100, I guess. Or either maybe 10. I don't know. I can't quite remember my conversions, but we are going to need to convert that into something a little bit longer, because our incrementer's 100,000, our string duration's 95. So it could either be 9 seconds long or 90 seconds. So I'm not entirely sure about that. Let's probably go ahead and multiply it by 100. I guess that would make the most sense. But anyway, let's continue on this, and we see that everything actually worked here, so we know that we're actually able to grab our video. So when we F8 over here and we get a frame at this time, we actually have a bitmap file that we're probably going to end up saving somewhere so we can actually see what it looks like. I'm actually curious what it might be. But our little while loop works, and since we didn't actually set that duration correctly, it'll return that GIF. Now I'm pretty excited about that. So our duration, we're just going to multiply this by 100. Just kind of hard code that in right now. But yeah, this is a lot of, I actually did a lot this video. I'm kind of happy with what I've done so far. So I think I'm going to end this video now and then work on some of this stuff later, maybe clean up this file a lot and get to work on turning those bitmap files into a GIF, which we can then display to the user. So that's enough in this episode in the Android apps from Scratch video series. Make sure to tune in to more episodes in the series and tune into my other tutorials on my YouTube page. And comment, rate, subscribe. And you guys are awesome. Quackwars signing out.